sports.
He got him, struck him out. 9 no-hit innings, but no no-hitter yet. Bottom 9, a no-hitter in the balance. Dodge check swing, it gets away. Here comes Stanton. It's a no-hitter. Henderson Alvarez. Miami wins it.
Washington, D.C., this weekend the weather has been absolutely perfect. And the National fans are coming in. They're getting ready for the postseason. Their Nationals have won the East. They have home field advantage in the first 2 rounds in the division and the championship series in the National League. The Marlins, they'd like to get a win to finish off 2014 after taking some rather large steps towards improving. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. It has been a outstanding 2014 considering where the Marlins were last year at this time.
You and I had a brief chat with Mike Redmond earlier today, and I think the thing that he brought out was the fact that this club, because of the number of wins this year, has learned how to win.
Closing day last year, you just saw Henderson Alvarez throwing that no-hitter. And for him and for the Marlins, a great season.
Yeah, for Henderson Alvarez, you look at the number of starts. Today will be start number 30. Look where he stands in the NL, 6th in ERA. He's also 5th in the National League in ground balls to fly balls. He was an all-star this year, trying to pick up win number 13 here today.
And so Alvarez gets the start. Jordan Zimmermann goes for the Nationals. Nationals have their A-team in there right now. The Marlins would like to get to 78 wins to finish off the year.
Yeah, I think Matt Williams will probably have just his regulars get a couple of ABs, but who knows? We'll see how this one goes. The season finale.
We got Nats. We got Marlins. It's closing day. And Alvarez is on the mound again.
Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida, brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places by AT&T U-verse TV. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 800-PICK-AT&T, mobilizing your world. By Checkers. Checkers has 3 favorites in one box. The $2 shrimp and chicken bites and fries box. Only at Checkers. And by your South Florida Honda dealers and sfhondadealers.com. In D.C., Marlins and Nationals. Another big crowd expected. They had close to 38,000 here yesterday. JM Lexus brings you one last time the Marlins lineup. Christian Yelich in the leadoff spot. Donovan Solano hit second. Casey McGee slotted third. Garrett Jones in the cleanup spot with Reed Johnson getting a start in left. Justin Bour has had a nice 2-week run. He's at first base. JT Realmuto has had a nice series here. He's behind the plate. Adeiny Hechavarria having a fine September. And you got Henderson Alvarez hitting ninth. Pitchapetty's first pitch is a fastball. It is fouled off the catcher, Wilson Ramos. And there's a look at Jordan Zimmermann, who is slated to be the Game 2 starter in the division series for the Nats.
Well, the Nats have won his last 10 starts. So he's been steady on the mound, trying to pick up win number 14. He's a guy that doesn't waste much time and throws a lot of strikes.
Now, Jordan Zimmermann just faced the Marlins last Saturday, beat them 3-2 in Miami. Yelich fouls it back. Alvarez's last start was against the Phillies, and he pitched quite well in that one. So you got 2 hot pitchers here finishing off the regular season with the Nationals postseason lineup. Sans Jason Worth out there at least to start for Matt Williams.
I think the word, too, from Matt Williams is that we might see a couple of ABs from each of his starters, and he may go to some of those guys we saw in Game 2 of that doubleheader.
Zimmermann doesn't walk many people. He's walked just 28, and this is start number 32. Yelich fouls it back. Miami would like to get to 78 wins. Yesterday, both Atlanta and the Mets won, and so it's a 2-way tie for second, and the Marlins sit a game back right now in 4th place in the National League East. And so a win would get the Marlins to 78. They would need help from Houston, who is tied with the Mets 1-1 in the second. And they need help from the Phillies, as they're just about to start in Philly, Atlanta, and the Phils. That's the mini intrigue of today. The rest is just some fascinating matchups with both the division title implications and wild card implications. And we'll keep you updated throughout the day. 2-2. Yelich, after a high fastball, fouls it back.
How many times, Rich, all season have we seen at bats just like this from Christian Yelich? A lot of foul balls. He's getting the count to a 3-2 count. And he has grinded out at bat after at bat and has had an extremely solid year.
A liner to right. That's Bryce Harper. And he makes the catch. So Yelich barrels it up, but is out number 1.
Just a bright, gorgeous, sunny afternoon here in Washington, D.C. Ryan Zimmerman gets the start in left field. Span and Harper filling out that Nationals outfield. Rendon and Desmond left side. Cabrera, LaRoche on the right side. Wilson Ramos behind the plate.
Here's Donovan Solano. He's got 5 hits in this series. You got Casey McGee behind him. Solano has been in and out of the starting lineup at second base. Remember, this was a year when it started that Rafael Furcal was going to be at the second base spot.
And I believe the Marlins have used 7 or 8 players at that second base position all year.
Injuries have essentially kept Furcal out for the duration of the season. He did come in and join the club for one stretch.
I think Solano has added to what many people have thought about him. Very, very good defensive second baseman, and a guy that maybe not as an everyday starter, but as a spot starter, can hit 250 for you. LaRoche makes the catch on a high throw from Ian Desmond.
Boy, that's a nice play by Ian Desmond, who picked that ball and then got himself squared up and set to make the throw. Ian Desmond, we've seen, has a strong arm. There's kind of a spin move, and he gets some nice help over first base from Adam LaRoche. Jeff Baker, Derek Dietrich for Call, Kike Hernandez, Ed Lucas, Donovan Solano, and Jordany Valdespin have all played second base.
Here is Casey McGee. Comeback Player of the Year is not an official baseball award. It is awarded, though, and I think McGee is a guy that certainly will be considered for that. It's not in the main menu of postseason awards like Cy Young, MVP. Wow. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and McGee goes down. Jordan Zimmermann goes 1-2-3 in the first. Last day of 2014, and we're in high definition. It's brought to you by H.H. Gregg. Henderson Alvarez, the entertainer, as he's known around the ball club and around Marlin fans. He gets a very good Nationals lineup right out of the chute. J.M. Lexus brings it to you. Denard Span, Anthony Rendon have been outstanding at the top of the order all year long. Ryan Zimmerman gets a start at left field. Adam LaRoche at first base. Ian Desmond hits fifth. Bryce Harper's in right. Wilson Ramos, the catcher, as Dribble Cabrera's at second. Jordan Zimmerman will hit ninth.
Well, one of the areas that really jumped out to me when you look at the numbers of Henderson Alvarez, 17 starts this year against the National League East. Alvarez 7-2 with a 2.26 ERA. He has had a very solid year. He's had an all-star year.
Yes, he has. And as he always does, the old-fashioned windup to start his start here, his last one in 2014. Denard Span, a 301 average, and anybody in this last day of the regular season that sits on a number like that, the manager's aware of it. Span is aware of it. He could go 0 for 3, Hut, and still hit 300.
Yeah, and I'm sure Matt Williams is aware of that. Sometimes players aren't as much as others, which seems to be the case for the Astros as they go into the last day of the season.
End of the bat, little looper. Reed Johnson is there, and he makes the catch. All right, Marlins defense, and then we'll take you to Houston, where there's an interesting
situation with Jose Altuve. Go
There
ahead.
are always situations on the last day of the season. Reed Johnson, Christian Yelich, Garrett Jones in the outfield, Casey McGee, Echeverria, Solano, and Justin Bohr around the infield. JT Realmuto had a nice game, second game of the doubleheader. 3 hits, 4 RBIs the other night.
Here's Rendon. He digs in. Rendon, an outstanding season. 39 doubles, 21 homers, on base in the 350s, slugging in the upper 400s. The situation in Houston is that Jose Altuve comes into play hitting at 340. Victor Martinez trails him by 3 points at 337. And the Houston organization decided to sit Altuve today to try to secure a batting title. And all the reports that we read, Altuve wasn't all cool with that. He wanted to play.
It didn't sound like he was on board with the decision. Altuve with 223 hits. To his credit, he's played 157 games, but wanted to play, came to the ballpark to play today.
The Astros have never had a batting champ. Here's a 1-2. Rendon fouls it back. Of course, today as well, a day to look around the league and talk not only about batting titles, but MVP, Cy Young, Manager of the Year. You have 2 managers in this ball game who will get consideration. I think Matt Williams deserves it, and I think Mike Redmond does as well, taking over last year, a team that won just 100 games last year. Redmond without Jose Fernandez, and of course these last 3 weeks without Giancarlo Stanton. Marlins a very improved ball club at 77 and 83. And then Williams, Tommy, walked into what was an underachieving year last year, inherited that team with Davey Johnson gone, and it's been pretty smooth sailing for the Nationals. He has handled whatever bumps they've had in the road, whether it's Harper or whatever. He's handled it quite well.
Yeah, they had some early bumps in the season, first few months. They didn't get off to the greatest of starts, but he was able to keep things together. A great demeanor. You talk to players who've played for Matt Williams, and they'll tell you that. And certainly a guy that is going to be respected because of what he did as a player.
A high fly ball to left. Reed Johnson. Sun is not as big an issue as it was yesterday, at least not yet. There are some clouds, some overcast skies, but it has warmed up to 79 degrees here.
We couldn't have asked for 3 nicer days, though, to finish the season here in D.C. With Ryan Zimmerman stepping in, I guess Matt Williams, I don't know if he has officially set out his roster, but it appears Zimmerman will be on the postseason roster. He'll pinch hit. He won't play. He'll get some opportunities to pinch hit. And hopefully for the Nationals, if they get to the World Series in the American League City, he'll be able to DH.
Not often that a player gets in the box and gets a happy birthday song to him. And he drives it into center field. Yelich is there, and he makes the catch. Henderson Alvarez goes 1-2-3 in the first, underway and scoreless in D.C. Wisconsin, who has had a very, very nice year. 13-5 with a 2.78 ERA. Garrett Jones, Reed Johnson, Justin Bour for Miami in the second. The Nationals go in with home field advantage. So they'll host on Friday in the division series. Matt Williams trying to map out his week. One of the oddities for the Nationals is they're not sure who they're going to play, because the wild card game for the National League is on Wednesday, and then the winner of that game comes here. So it's not like they can start preparing, full bore right away.
Even though we've speculated what their rotation is going to be, and everybody else kind of knows, Matt Williams kind of holding back, not making it official until he does see who they play. And the other thing he said, they're going to be playing some simulated games to make sure his relief pitchers, everybody gets some innings during their time that they have off. As you've talked about, they don't play till Friday.
Yeah, Wednesday is a simulated game day for the Nationals. Thursday is the traditional workout where the press will be here to watch both teams work out. And then Friday it's game on. Reed Johnson, a couple hits in this series. And you got Justin Bour against Zimmerman. The Nationals rotation from top to bottom, not only an outstanding year, but maybe the most complete and deep rotation in baseball.
I have a number on Jordan Zimmerman that I think Marlins fans will certainly be interested in. It's nice that they put it in their notes to just let us know, because remember, he had Tommy John surgery, and since Tommy John surgery, Zimmerman's had 128 starts. During those starts, he's 53-35 with an ERA just a little over 3.
Scatter report on Zim, easy in the 90s.
Easy delivery. He's got that nice curve ball and kind of a slider cutter in between.
Ramos and LaRoche. And why not let the Gold Glover take it? LaRoche makes the catch. Big flourish with that catch. And here comes Justin Bour.
Well, we just saw Reed Johnson and quietly hit that pop fly, but 16 pinch hits, a lot of pinch hit at bats, but a good job off the bench. And I think the Marlins also are getting a nice look at Justin Bour here the final few weeks of the season.
And you see the numbers that Bour has put up in his short stay here in Miami. And one foul back and out of play. And as the Marlins look towards 2015, this young man has made a nice impression.
And we'll have a short drive home after the game today.
Bour put up big numbers in 2012 in the minor leagues with the Cubs. Tailed off in 2013 and was exposed at the AAA level to the Rule 5 draft, and that's when the Marlins got him. Zimmerman elevates a fastball. He's retired all 6 that he's faced. Park on Monday, December 22nd. College football returns to the site of the former Orange Bowl. BYU is slated, unless they finish in the Final Four and in the national playoff, to take on a team from the American Athletic Conference. MiamiBeachBowl.com, the place to go for information. Adam LaRoche, Ian Desmond, and Bryce Harper against Henderson Alvarez in the second. Alvarez working quickly. That foul ball went in and out of the Miami dugout. The count's 0-2.
You know, when we showed you the Marlins defensively, the Marlins are on a nice streak. They've played 9 consecutive games without committing an error.
And that has pushed the Marlins up the rankings in terms of team defense in the National League. Miami opens play, and this is pretty impressive. 5th in the National League in fielding percentage. They were near the bottom for a while at the start and the mid part of the season. Reed Johnson makes a catch. And of course, once we get to October, history will be made. Baseball's postseason moves to America's new sports network. Fox Sports 1 is your new home for baseball's National League Division and Championship Series. And it all begins next Friday.
Well, as expected for a guy who's 5th in the league in ground balls, the fly ball ratio has recorded 4 outs, and they've all been fly balls. Other little mark for Henderson Alvarez, he came into the game with 180 innings. His career high, he went 187 1/3 his final year with the Blue Jays.
You look at Alvarez, and if you cut his numbers up, if you look at Desmond standing in, from his Blue Jay numbers to his Marlin numbers, Alvarez is 17-12 in 46 starts with the Marlins, and his ERA is close to 3, just above 3. With the Blue Jays, 41 starts, his ERA 4.5, and a 10-17 record.
I think he'd be the first to tell you he's a better pitcher since he's become a Marlin.
That one's hit well, left field. Johnson looks up, and it's gone in a hurry. Sarasota's Ian Desmond, his 24th. He might just be the Silver Slugger winner at shortstop in the National League.
14th home run off Henderson Alvarez this year. Not only home run number 24, RBI number 91 for Ian Desmond. The ball kind of drifted in a great zone for Desmond, and Henderson knew that Desmond hit it hard.
That brings up Bryce Harper. In the 4-game series sweep down in Miami, the Nationals had just come off clinching the East in Atlanta, celebrating on Atlanta's field. And they came into Marlins Park, and you thought to yourself, well, there's 10 days left in the season. The Nationals are going to run some odd lineups out there. Maybe Miami can steal a couple of wins. Harper rifles it into center field, the base hit. Yelich over to cut it off. Harper around first. He's headed to second, and he's in there. But the Nationals in that series in Miami and here in this series to close the year still have the pedal full to the floor.
Well, and to your point, right on cue, Bryce Harper gets himself a hustling double. And I think a lot of that goes to Matt Williams keeping his ball club playing at the highest level. And I think part of that is because he knows that first playoff game isn't going to be until Friday. So he wants to keep them as close to as sharp as they can be. And they've played that way.
So Harper's at second. There's one out, a run across. And here is Wilson Ramos. Nationals got a nice offensive boost from Ramos from mid to late August all the way through here to the finish. And it came in the form of home runs. 8 home runs since August, second among National League catchers.
I think you've seen in those pitches, the home run and the double that have been hit hard, just not in the location where Alvarez wanted to put them. It's a good opportunity for JT Realmuto too, catching Henderson Alvarez. And by all account, everyone we've talked to, it's been a much improved game as far as defense for Realmuto. I don't think anybody ever had any concerns about offense, and he's improved greatly behind the plate.
Well, the Marlins have 2 very good judges of that. Mike Redmond, who was a big league catcher for a long time, and Rob Leary, a catching instructor at one point in his career. That one tapped down the third base line. And when they talk about Realmuto, they talk about what they saw in spring training and what they see now, and they're both very excited about his defensive skills and the improvement that he's made. And he has the skill set, Tommy, not to be a backup catcher in the big leagues.
Oh, no.
He has the skill set to be an everyday starter and a good one in the big leagues. Got him inside corner. Late call there by Alan Porter. And Ramos is down. Randi Institute bringing you Fox Tracks. They should actually widen Fox Tracks for the last game of the season, don't you think? Make everybody's life easier, the umpires especially.
I think at times they do.
Hashtag your photo, FL fan photo, tweet it, and you might just be today's AT&T fan photo. Never mind the small print there, which allows us to disseminate and send it to wherever we want, but it would have to be this telecast, right? There's no rollover photos for next year, like rollover minutes.
Or rollover outs.
Right. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera.
You and I were talking before the game about the Nationals lineup. You have a guy like Cabrera, who's been an all-star, 2-time all-star with Cleveland, a guy who certainly didn't hit 8th with the Indians, and he's their number 8 hitter.
He didn't hit with the Indians this year, and it's one of the reasons that they were willing to part with him. He was a Silver Slugger award. It's awarded to the best offensive player at each position. That was back in 2011. He had a big hit in yesterday's ball game. Cabrera banging one off the wall in right center field for a 3-run double.
2011, Rich, 273, 25 home runs, 92 RBIs for Asdrubal Cabrera, who makes his home in Plantation.
Two outs, counts 1 and 2. Ian Desmond's line drive homer to left as the Nationals on top. .95-66 are these Nationals. Very good at home. They're 20 over at home, 50-30, and good enough on the road, 9 over. And down goes Cabrera. Alvarez gets a strikeout, but the Nationals are on the board. Ian Desmond's 24th. It's 1-0. this year, as chosen by the Blue Ribbon panel and the crack staff. Remember this Marcell Ozuna home run? This was a true splashdown homer. It got into the Clevelander pool. And watch the gentleman with his cell phone in his right hand, went into the pool, got the ball. Phone was okay, and got a towel and a souvenir. First splashdown home run, true splashdown home run on the fly. JT Realmuto, Danny Echeverria, and Henderson Alvarez. Now, earlier in the show, we were talking about batting titles and what was going on today, and we had read that the Astros organization was going to hold Jose Altuve out of the ball game, and just to secure, he's 3 points ahead of Victor Martinez, and Altuve wasn't all cool with that. Well, apparently someone, either Altuve changed their mind or someone in the Astros front office changed their mind. He's playing today.
He's in the lineup. He's 1 for 2. So he's at 340. That's the good news for Altuve. The bad news for Marlins fans, the Mets have a 2-1 lead.
That one fouled back. There's your American League batting chase. And now that's coming into play today. Victor Martinez is 0 for 1. He's dropped to 336. So Altuve is 1 for 2. Martinez is 0 for 1. The Tigers do have a 1-0 lead over the Twins as Realmuto goes down.
And you saw Michael Brantley on that list of the Indians. Brantley with 200 hits. So Altuve and Brantley, the two American League hitters with over 200 hits. Borderline, but just caught the corner.
It's the getaway day of getaway days, right? I mean, it's the last day of the regular season. Traditionally in baseball, if you're a hitter and it's close, you better be swinging.
By the way, the National League will not have a 200 hit hitter. Ben Revere and Denard Span leading the league. They're tied. They each have 183 hits.
Now the National League batting title is going to be an interesting day. You've got Justin Morneau at 319 and Josh Harrison in Pittsburgh at 318. Pittsburgh, by the way, has tied Johnny Cueto in Cincinnati 1-1 in the fourth. Harrison is 0 for 2. He's fallen to 317. Morneau with the Rockies are in Los Angeles to take on the Dodgers. That's later on this afternoon.
A couple of things to look for. Johnny Cueto has 4 strikeouts in that game. He has 239. Remember, Strasburg took the lead. He's at 242.
Well, Zimmerman is racking up strikeouts right now. This is the 8th guy he's faced in Echeverria, and he's the 4th guy he has struck out. So 2 outs, and here's Alvarez. Alvarez entertaining on the mound and always entertaining at the plate. A guy that has hit 200, has driven in a couple. And he sprays one out to second. Cabrera jogs it over to first. And Miami down in order. Jordan Zimmerman has retired all 9 that he's faced. Cap, the old school Marlins jersey. Watching Henderson Alvarez facing the Nationals. Coors Light Cold Hard Fact arrives shortly. Zimmerman takes a strike through the magic of television. Here it is. National League East champs, largest end of season leads. The 86 Mets, 21.5 games. 2002 Braves won it by 19. The Nationals right now have a 17-game lead over both the Mets and the Braves. And both those teams are leading right now in their games, which is bad news for Miami. The Marlins had hopes of catching and finishing in second, but Atlanta has a 2-0 lead in Philly. And the Mets a 2-1 lead against Altuve and the Astros in New York. That's mid-4th in New York. That one a line drive that finds the glove of Justin Bour. Top of the order now for the Nationals. Denard Span with Anthony Rendon. 1 run for Washington, an Ian Desmond home run. And this crowd, which has been so full of energy on Friday night, yesterday afternoon, and even today, just getting started. Their postseason begins on Friday.
Well, those with tickets lining up their work week.
Span into the corner, and he jogs in with double number 39 on the season. What a year at the top of the order and in center field for Denard Span.
And also base hit number 184 for Span.
Winter warm-up at Marlins Park is on Saturday, February 21st. You can purchase single-game tickets, select your seats for season tickets, and mini plans. Get autographs from Marlin players, enjoy games and activities for the entire family. And Span is coming out of the ball game and deservedly gets a standing ovation. He has been a difference maker for this ball club this year.
That's also a single season club record for the Washington Nationals. 184 hits being acknowledged by this nice crowd.
And we've said it before, the way he handled the whole Bryce Harper comment about the Nationals lineup and how Harper should be in center and Zimmerman should be in left. Harper left out Span. Span took it in stride, and all he did was go out and set a single season record. And I think that made a big difference to his manager, Matt Williams.
I tell you what, that would make a big difference to the club, too, to his teammates.
As we said last night, after the hit, you see the ball coming in. As we said last night, there could be a scenario in the postseason where you get a start from Ryan Zimmerman in left field, and you got Span in center, and it's Harper who's left out of the lineup. How ironic would that be? Rendon, a pop-up on the infield. 4 infielders converge. Alvarez gets the heck out of the way, and Solano makes the catch.
I don't know if that would happen. We talked about that last night. We've watched Zimmerman run. He's still only about 80%. And to put him in the field defensively, that really hurts your defense as opposed to having a Bryce Harper out there. I don't think they would do that. I think they'll just wait, hoping to get to the World Series and using him as the DH.
What if they're struggling offensively and they face a Clayton Kershaw?
That's always a possibility. We'll be at home watching.
Well, here is Zimmerman. Now, it's been interesting watching Zimmerman the last 10 days because when he comes out of the box after putting it in play, he really is slow and deliberate and not wanting to tweak the hamstring. But we've seen him on the bases have to turn it on, and he's been able to do it. Remember the play at the plate in Miami where he tried to score from third?
Yeah, and it's the quick movement where you're going to re-aggravate that hamstring, and he's really tried to break it down early with those few exceptions.
He was asked about the hamstring. He said on a scale of 1 to 10 guys, he's calling it between 7 and 8. And he's also been very understandable about the way the lineup situation goes. I just see Bohr make that play, so he hopes they'll get a few days rest, be back in there in the playoffs.
It's a 1-0 Nationals lead. It's a 1-0 ball game. The Nationals are on top of the Marlins. It's the top of the fourth. Now, yesterday we visited with Marlins president of baseball operations, Mike Hill, and he's back. He was so good. He did a little play-by-play. He analyzed some swings. He even picked apart Fox Track and the strike zone. But that's not why you're here. You have an announcement that you'd like to make. This is the first anyone's heard of it.
It is the first that anyone's heard of this, and I wanted the opportunity to get to you guys so that we can get to the fans of South Florida. It has been such a great year for us and a tremendous step that we've taken. And obviously, as we said yesterday, as a pop fly to
there you see, he's good. He's good.
A pop fly to
transitions
Franson there.
Right into it.
We've spoken so much about continuity and building blocks, and we spent a long time the last few days and weeks with our owner Jeffrey Loria about our direction and where we want to go. And we felt like there was no better message to deliver to the people of South Florida than to tell them that our manager, Mike Redmond, has been extended through the 2017 season. His entire coaching staff is coming back. And we wanted to give it to you guys and give it to the people of South Florida to know the commitment that our ownership has, Jeffrey Loria and our front office. And we know that moving forward, we're going to have Mike Redmond at the helm of a talented ball club and one that's building towards future championships.
Boy, that's good news. And I know Rich and I, we had a nice discussion with Red today earlier when the team bus got here. And one of the things he pointed out, and you've certainly seen it, that this ball club this year, with all the young players going through growing pains, has learned how to win. And he's been a big part of that.
No question about it. The credit goes to Red and his staff and what they've been able to accomplish, the strides we've made in adding 15 and I'm going to say 16 more wins from last year, and the growth of all of our young players and the steps forward that Echeverria and Yelich and Ozuna and Henderson Alvarez, as we see Solano strike out there. But just so many positive things and we think he and his staff deserve the credit.
Now, you talked about some of the young players, Yelich, Ozuna. You've got Jose Fernandez coming back from Tommy John surgery, Stanton off an MVP season, and the continuity. Will there be, as a fly ball is lifted to right field, if you could stick around for another half inning, my friend?
It would be my pleasure.
All right, just got a few more questions for you. Because Jordan Zimmerman's working awful quickly in this one. 1-0, Nationals on top. Saw the pen relays. This is not quite that. There are Penguins on the course for the president's race. Now, Teddy Roosevelt is a lovable loser here in Washington, D.C. Abe doing the Penguin. And all of a sudden, here's Teddy. And watch this. William Taft, who is actually lighter now as a racing president than he was as an actual president, unable to catch Teddy. Does he get the belt? He got the belt. Very nice. It's
been a rough ride for Teddy.
Oh, I got that one. That one's into center field. LaRoche gets it by Echeverria. It's into center field. We are joined by Marlins President of Baseball Operations, Michael Hill, who has just announced that the Marlins have extended manager Mike Redmond through the 2017 season as well. Mike, you said that the entire coaching staff is coming back as Adam LaRoche comes off to a standing ovation. Matt Williams doing a nice thing here. He's taking the starters out one by one. In your last comment, you talked about the importance of extending Red and bringing the coaches back was continuity, continuing what you guys have started this year, an enormous step forward from last year. As far as continuity with young players, how do you keep that together moving forward in the next few years?
Well, I think we've identified our core, and I think you look at the young talent that is on this roster, and you start at shortstop with Andini Echeverria and move to left field with Christian Yelich and Marcell Ozuna and some of our young pitching. I think the core is there for us, and all young, all controllable and fit as the ball lifted to center field by Desmond. But there's the aforementioned Yelich tracking it down. That is what we have discussed, because we're trying to build something for sustained winning. And you do that with continuity of leadership, continuity in the dugout, and hopefully as we get into the offseason, we'll be able to continue to build with the roster. And I know there's been a lot of questions about our right fielder, and we've out of respect to him, we haven't discussed extension with him. We both agreed to wait as the ball squirts through the right field.
Well, you're doing great on the play-by-play, by the way.
There's a lot happening as I'm talking here. I don't want the people to not know what's going on. But
at the corners with one out. There you go.
But we agreed that when the off season arrived, that we would talk keeping Giancarlo through his arbitration years, and that is still the goal. And I know he has a nice vacation ahead of him once the season's over, but that is the goal: is to talk to the big guy and try to keep this core together as long as we can.
Bryce Harper exits. LaRoche came out as well. And Wilson Ramos stands in. So the Nationals lineup now has Nate Schierholtz, Kevin Franzen, Tyler Moore. Scott Hairston has come in as a pinch runner. Still a 1-0 ball game and a roller to McGee out there. Solano double clutch and the turn, and he gets it. Solano got it out of his glove a little late. Well, congratulations on signing your skipper. Good luck in the offseason with the continuity and the exciting young core that you've got.
No, thank you guys. Thank you guys for a great season. It's we spend a lot of time together, and it's nice when we can talk baseball and talk Marlins wins. So let's wrap this year up on a good note and get some runs.
All right, Michael Hill.
Thanks, Mike.
All right.
All righty, guys.
Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Postseason picture, and it's still not clear. A lot going on. There could be 3 Game 163s tomorrow. Seattle and Oakland battling for the number 2 wild card spot. If they tie and play tomorrow, that game is in Seattle. If Detroit and Kansas City have a 1-game shot for the American League Central, that game is in Detroit. If St. Louis and Pittsburgh have to play for the National League Central, that game is in St. Louis. Scores that we're watching as Garrett Jones takes a breaking ball. Reds and Pirates 1-1. The significance there, the Pirates are a game behind the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals are in Arizona where they lost last night. Jones lines out. Twins Tigers. Now David Price is on the mound, and he's got a 1-0 lead. That's in the 5th. The Twins have played the Tigers well this year. They're 10-8 against the Tigers. And if the Tigers win that ball game, then Kansas City is the wild card. The Royals and the White Sox are just underway, and that's in Chicago, and that's scoreless.
I think one of the interesting things, Rich, in the way things have come down this last day of the season, some of the clubs that are battling to get to postseason, they're having to use their ace, which will in turn keep them from using their ace early in a postseason series.
Another line drive. Marlins are spraying it around pretty good. Franzen squeezes it, and Reed Johnson is out. Now the Royals have clinched a postseason. They'd love to win the division, but they'll settle for the wild card. The last time Ronald Reagan was in the Oval Office. It was 1985. Gallon of gas was $1.09. Out of Africa was the best picture. The walk-up song for Josh Reddick, right? Careless Whisper, the #1 song. Windows 1.0 was released. And compact discs were introduced in the United States. Here's Justin Bour in a ball game that is flying by right now. It's the top of the 5th. Bour struck out back in the 2nd. With all the things that have happened in terms of guys coming out to standing ovations, there's his father, Jim, back for this ball game. Jordan Zimmermann has not given up a hit.
Well, the amazing thing, too, just 50, 51 pitches that last pitch, and he's an out away from getting through the 5th inning.
Now, the Marlins on the last day of 2013, of course, had Henderson Alvarez throw a very unique no-hitter.
It could make for an interesting decision, though, for Matt Williams as well, because he's not going to let Zimmerman go 9 innings.
He let Steven Strasburg go just 6 innings yesterday before bringing the bullpen in. Strasburg threw 6 innings of 2-hit shutout ball. Bour fouls it at the plate.
Well, since the All-Star break, Jordan Zimmermann is 7-0 with a 2.43 ERA.
I mean, Strasburg is on an incredible run as well. Last 6 starts, he's 4-1 with an ERA of like 1.25. And so Zimmerman's hot as well. Pfister has been incredible. The Marlins got a taste of that. And Gio Gonzalez, his last start, struck out 12.
His last 2 starts have been outstanding. One of those against the Marlins.
And Justin Bour walks. So no perfect game. Bour down to first, and here's JT Realmuto. The Yankees are finishing their season in Boston, where the Red Sox are finishing their season. And Derek Jeter is 1 for 2 with an RBI in his final game. He is DHing. Astros have tied the Mets 2-2, top 5. And Realmuto takes inside from Zimmermann. And guess what? Whoever made the decision in Houston to say, Jose, you're not going to play. And
doesn't know Jose very well.
Yeah, you don't know Jose. That's a liner.
Wow.
Altuve is 2 for 3, Hut. His average now at 341. Jordan Zimmermann still hasn't given up a hit. DC, brought to you by Palmetto 57 Nissan, Palmetto 57 Volkswagen, home of your money-back guarantee by MCCI Medical Group. Call us to schedule a visit. Your nearest MCCI center, MCCI Medical Group, keeping you healthy by your South Florida Chevrolet dealers. Henderson Alvarez, first pitch, a liner, right to Echeverria. It's always interesting in games like this is Marlins get a first pitch out. You know, guys are out there, they're just throwing strikes. It's amazing how many outs you get when you just throw strikes.
It is, and we've seen, I know if teams and other broadcasters are looking from afar at this game, they say, well, the Marlins, they're just swinging at everything. But you know what? There have been a ton of hard-hit balls, a lot of line drives. And, yeah, you're right. It just goes to show if you throw strikes, a lot of those balls that are hit many times find infielders.
Here's Jordan Zimmerman. Now, Zimmerman, if you're just joining us, has not given up a hit. Here on the last day of 2014, probable Game 2 starter in the division series. Alvarez, who was opposing him, has given up 5 hits. And, of course, as we've noted, Alvarez, the guy that threw the no-hitter last year on the final day of the season. Bouncer, Echeverria, quick release, and Zimmerman beats it.
I am sure Matt Williams was holding his breath as Jordan Zimmerman was hustling up the line to try to beat out an infield base hit. Looked like the ball just ticked off the glove of Casey McGee. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe just took a tricky hop. Good effort by Echeverria. And Jordan Zimmerman gets an infield base hit.
Nate Schierholtz now. And it's his first at bat. He came into the ball game after Denard Span doubled. That was in the third. He lines it into center field. That's a base hit. We've been counting down some big moments. We had number 5. That was the splashdown homer by Marcell Ozuna. Here's number 4, Giancarlo Stanton. Oh, this is up on the Budweiser Terrace, the one that went over the bar. That's moment number 4. Big G.
Kind of missed those the last few weeks, haven't we?
Now, if you like a little of that and a little of this and a lot of fun and some great music, the end of the season highlight music video spectacular is coming up. Bouncer, McGee. 1 there. Solano's turn, 2 there. Alvarez gets a double play, and the 5th inning is history.
Invitational golf tournament.
coming up next year, 2015. We had a great time last year. Hoping you all come back. Let's do it again next year.
Wednesday, the 18th of February, 1877 Marlins, or go to marlins.com/golf. It's the 6th. You see the line score. Jeff Coburnis is in the game. He's going to play second base. Jordan Zimmermann on the mound has not given up a hit through 5 innings in a 1-0 lead for the Nats. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Oh, Rich, thank you very much. A couple little updates. This is that off-season time. You talk to the guys what they're going to do. Kike Hernandez is going to play some winter ball in Puerto Rico. He's going to play for Joe Espada, the former Marlins coach, and he's looking to go forward to playing a full season and getting in the mix in spring training next year. Brad Penny may be a surprise. He's going to play winter ball in the Dominican Republic. He talked to Marcel Ozuna, set him up with a contact. Penny says he feels very healthy and he wants to pitch in the big leagues next season. And he said, I got to pitch in winter ball, see how it goes, and go week to week. I feel healthy, but I've got to pitch every 5 days to be able to be effective. So he's going to do that. Casey McGee said, I'll think about the season. He told me on the way home, driving home to Tennessee. It's been a good year, good return for him. He'll start his workouts in November. Then he starts hitting in December. Guys?
Everybody has their own routine.
Yeah, they do. And, sometimes you change it as you get a little older. You change that routine. But, boy, Casey McGee's played 160 games, only missed a couple of games, and has just had a very, very solid year. And it's been a good sign by the ball club.
Echeverria, Henderson Alvarez, and then Christian Yelich. And down goes Echeverria. Boy, Zimmerman is overpowering right now. Marlins Live pregame. South Florida Honda dealers get you ready for 2015. Opening day, April 6th. Braves Marlins at Marlins Park.
Opening day a little bit later next year.
Alvarez, a mighty swing, and he fouls it back.
You could have a Henderson Alvarez, Irvin Santana matchup, or Julio Teheran possibly. Teheran's locked into a little longer deal. Santana's just 1 year.
Well, the Braves, and we really haven't talked about that since Frank Wren was let go. Shake-up in the baseball side of things in that front office. Coburn is to his left, gets the out. And Zimmerman quickly has 5 2/3 innings of no-hit ball here against the Marlins.
And he's just starting to break a sweat at 64 pitches. Two-time All-Star Jordan Zimmermann, 2-0 this year against the Marlins, 6-3 in his career against the Fish.
He has 6 strikeouts. He has walked a hitter. He walked Justin Bour. Yelich, an 0 for 2. Long run, and Franzen can't get there. Palmetto 57 Nissan leaderboard. Marlin hit leaders. Yelich at 165, McGee at 177, Stanton, Ozuna, and Echeverria.
And we've talked about the solid year for Christian Yelich. 30 doubles, 6 triples, on base percentage around 370. Tremendous with runners in scoring position. And getting to play a lot.
There's Christian Yelich's mom. All of those hit totals for all of those players are career highs. Yelich dribbles one first base side. Zimmerman has it, steps on the bag. 6 no-hit innings for Jordan Zimmermann. 1-0 Nationals on top. Marlins don't have a hit. Jordan Zimmermann, 6 no-hit innings. AT&T U-verse rewind. And of course, last year on closing day, it was Henderson Alvarez who started and was mowing down Tigers. And he got to the top of the ninth. He had not given up a hit, but he didn't have the no-hitter because the Marlins had not scored a run until a wild pitch with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Alvarez got his no-hitter, a walk-off no-hitter. Ryan Zimmerman is up. Jordan Zimmermann has a run and a 1-0 lead, and he's only thrown 68 pitches. So this is quite doable, I think, even if you're Matt Williams and you're prepping him for a start, which would not come until next Saturday in Game 2 of the National League Division Series.
Yeah, that's a good point as far as doable because of the number of pitches he's thrown.
There's a strike. So Ryan Zimmerman, Tyler Moore, and Danny Espinosa coming up for the Nationals. Just digging a little deeper on the Jose Altuve front, because we saw the stories this morning that the Astros front office was not going to let him play. Bohr knocks it down. Alvarez streaks over, and a nice throw by Bohr to get Zimmerman at first. When Altuve, who was hitting at .340 and had a 3-point lead in the American League batting race, got to the ballpark, he was pulled aside. We take a look at the line drive by general manager Jeff Luhnow and interim manager Tom Lawless, and they told the All-Star second baseman he would not be in the lineup, and that did not make Altuve very happy. According to a statement issued by the Astros, Altuve approached Lawless prior to the game and was passionate about playing, and Lawless said as a player he deserves the right to make that decision, and the Astros' best player, by the way. And so the Astros relented, and Altuve, last we checked, was 2 for 3, and looks like he's cementing the American League batting title, and more power to him.
Well, cementing another good start is Henderson Alvarez. He just needs a little support. Nathan Eovaldi got no offensive support last night. And Alvarez once again doing what he has done all year. A lot of strikes, a lot of pitches down, made a little mistake to Desmond early in the game with the home run. But the entertainer is entertaining.
He's 0-2 Tyler Moore. Breaking ball foul. It's the final time, Tommy, that we'll see the Gecko. Oh, I'm sure you'll see him in the postseason, but in the regular season. On resting players before the playoffs. This is Cal Ripken Jr. If it's me, I want to clinch, and then I want the ability to give a couple people time to freshen up. But you've got to be cognizant. That one misses down low. That everyday players have to play and stay sharp, you would expect.
Well, that's a great point because they're used to playing every day. And if they get a little bit out of that mode, it just kind of changes things up.
Yelich on a hop. Tyler Moore has a base hit. And here comes Espinosa.
Cal Ripken Jr. knew a thing or two about playing every day.
Yes, he was an everyday player. He was the
he's an every year player.
He's the patron saint of everyday players. Alvarez, wow! He couldn't catch it, then he couldn't pick it up, but he stayed with it enough to get the out at first. And that is why he's the entertainer.
You know, he's had a couple of really interesting plays. Even on the play that started the inning, the ball that Bohr knocked down, he hesitated a little bit and then rushed over and covered the bag nicely. Here he has trouble finding the handle, but completes the play and gets Espinosa. See, if you're not the entertainer, you make that look routine. If you're Henderson Alvarez, you make it look like that.
Now remember, Alvarez missed a couple starts this year with the oblique injury, and that was earlier this month. And so the Marlins, while this is all fun and he's cruising along here in his last start of 2014, they want to make sure that he is in the type of shape physically to continue. They certainly don't want to take any chances in a ball game like this. Alvarez waves him off, says he's okay. Scott Hairston waits at the plate. Marlins and Nationals. And if you're just zipping through the channels to check in on this one, Jordan Zimmermann has 6 no-hit innings for the Nationals. Yeah, that's a strike to Hairston. Counts 0-2. We have seen it with Alan Porter. The strike zone is a little large, which is to be expected. It hits the umpire. It's a fair ball. Bohr picks it up. Hairston is safe. That essentially saves a run. Gary Cederstrom with a skate save and a beauty down there on the first base line. It's a base hit. The ball's live off of an umpire. And here's another look at it.
Yeah, there isn't a thing you can do about it if you're the hitter expecting to get extra bases, and Cederstrom down there tried everything possible to get out of the way. Justin Bohr knew he didn't have a play at first. He kind of looked the runner just to make sure nobody scored from second, and was surprised when he saw the ball right there.
You know, if it ricochets closer to first, Bohr would be able to get the out, and that really would be tough to swallow if you're Hairston. Wilson Ramos now at the corners with 2 outs. Warren Hairston on the corners. Ramos takes in. He's bounced into a double play, and he is struck out.
Good velocity today from Henderson Alvarez. And he's kept his pitch count down pretty well, too. He's just at 70.
Little pop-up, shallow center. Solano calling, Solano catching, and Alvarez with some help from Gary Cederstrom gets out of the inning. Jordan Zimmermann, 6 no-hit innings, goes back to work. Out a hit. Jordan Zimmermann right now, 6 no-hit innings. Best moments for the Marlins in 2014. Maybe the best game I've ever seen pitched by both pitchers. This was Jose Fernandez in Atlanta against Alex Wood. Jose struck out 14 Braves. All told, that night, there were 28 hitters that struck out, and there were no walks allowed. And that's the only time in Major League history that that's ever happened.
Giancarlo Stanton had a double that drove in the only run of the game. And, well, it was one of those games, not a good day to be a hitter. Both pitchers were just outstanding.
Well, Jordan Zimmermann has been all of that in this ball game. Donovan Solano, Casey McGee, and Garrett Jones. And he throws a fastball by Solano, and it's 0-2.
I mean, Zimmermann in this one has the fastball working, his breaking ball, throwing some real good curveballs, some cutters. Just outstanding command as well. There's that curveball.
And Solano goes down, and Zimmermann has another strikeout. 7 strikeouts for Jordan Zimmermann.
There's the sharp bite of that 12-6 breaking ball. Gets Solano to chase it. Wow.
Now McGee. McGee in 0 for 2. A walk to Justin Bour with 2 outs in the 5th. The only blemish on Jordan Zimmermann's line today.
You know, when you're, I know this is the last day of the season, but when you're on that Marlins bench and you're in the lineup, you don't want a guy to throw a no-hitter. You want to be the one who breaks up the no-no. So if ever you needed a little incentive here the last day, it's to try to get a hit off this guy. But I'll tell you what, Jordan Zimmermann has been outstanding.
Breaking ball misses down low. The last no-hitter for a National/Expo pitcher. One of the great lines from Dave Van Horn's Hall of Fame career. El Presidente, El Perfecto. It was Dennis Martinez against the Dodgers, and it was in 1991. How about that?
Yeah, it was at Dodger Stadium. And, of course, Dennis Martinez, his nickname, El Presidente, and he was perfect that day.
And Zimmermann just seems to be getting stronger as the game grows longer. Marlins box score, the walk to Justin Bour, and that's it.
There have been some line drive outs. Christian Yelich lined out to right field. Garrett Jones himself line drive to first. Reed Johnson hit a screaming line drive to third base. Real Muto lined out to short. So the balls, there have been some balls hit really hard.
8 strikeouts. 77 pitches. And a swing and a miss. The ball kicks away. Garrett Jones is going to reach. And so the Marlins have another base runner. Zimmermann has another strikeout, his 9th.
He's had such good spin on that curveball that it starts out about knee high. He's tempted a lot of hitters with it, got Jones to chase it. That'll be a strikeout and a wild pitch. Jerry Blevins, lefty, starting to get loose.
Reed Johnson line to third. Tommy talked about the line drive out, and Johnson had one of the harder ones. That was in the 5th. Second base runner for Miami. Well, Blevins is up. Jones is out. He's picked off. Jordan Zimmermann, 7 no-hit innings. The Marlins are going to at least start the review process, and now Mike Redmond turns to the dugout and heads back. And so Zimmermann exits. 7 no-hit innings in D.C. Park, Jordan Zimmermann is no-hitting Miami.
He has been absolutely amazing through 7. No hits, the only run of the game. A home run by the shortstop, Ian Desmond. And for Desmond, number 24 on the year, 91 RBIs. That's it in the scoring. It's been spectacular for Zimmermann.
Now, we saw Jerry Blevins up in the Nationals bullpen, but Zimmermann has a bat. It's almost as if Matt Williams wants somebody warm in case he gives up a hit, and then that's it. But he's got to have somebody warm now the rest of the way. And we check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Hey, Rich, thank you very much. I wanted to get one chat here with these Nationals fans who are excited about the playoffs here and this scoreboard walk here and these chants that are reminiscent. We've talked about of Jets, Jets, Jets from New York. How long has the Nats, Nats, Nats chant been going on there?
I think since maybe June
this season.
May or June this season. Yeah.
How excited are you guys? And Peter here is from Scotland, but has lived here long enough to become a big Nats fan. How excited are you guys about the chances of this team maybe winning the World Series?
Well, we're always happy to have the chance, and we were here a couple of years ago, so we do know what it's all about. You know, we just hope we'll do a little bit better this time.
Well, I know you're excited, and it's some great crowds up here. What's your favorite chant? I got a couple. How's it go?
My favorite what?
Chant. Your favorite chant? Is it the Nats, Nats, Nats chant?
Probably Nats, Nats, Nats.
Nats, Nats, Nats. All right. I know they have a few here. The fans are getting ready for the playoffs here. And Scotland, there's some baseball in Scotland, yes or no?
Not really, no. We're more into cricket over there.
Good luck, you guys. Back to you. They're ready for it. Hey, one thing, though, Rich, right underneath you, there's a section, and that's where it all started. Those fans underneath you started at Nats, 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 and there's even a sign there to that effect. And it's a kind of a unique thing here at the ballpark. Back to you.
All right, Craig, thank you. Henderson Alvarez back to work, and Alvarez rings up Jeff Kobernus. Well, Henderson Alvarez on the last day of last year threw a no-hitter, a unique one. It was a walk-off no-hitter. Alvarez starting in the ball game on the last day of 2014, and it's his opponent who steps to the plate, Jordan Zimmermann. who is throwing a no-hitter.
And getting a standing ovation right now, too.
And Alvarez misses in. Zimmerman got himself an infield hit back in the 5th. Alvarez has struck out 3. He's walked nobody. Zimmerman has struck out 9. He's walked 1. Miami has had a runner reach on a wild pitch after one of those strikeouts.
And just a tad under Jordan Zimmerman is Henderson Alvarez, the way he's pitched.
And Jordan Zimmerman's got another hit.
Wow.
He is 2 for 3.
In some respects, he's doing everything that Matt Williams doesn't want him to do.
Yeah, you're right.
Get on base, have to run the bases a little bit more.
Now, Jordan Zimmerman is at 80 pitches. And so he's out at first base. Nate Schierholtz is up. There's 1 out. It's still a 1-0 game.
You know, in contrast to that, yesterday in his 6 innings, Steven Strasburg threw 83 pitches.
Schierholtz fouls it back. Now, Schierholtz came in for Denard Span. Matt Williams in this ball game has taken his regulars out, all for nice standing ovations when they've been able to get on base or when he's had an opportunity to lift them for an ovation.
Another guy, there's another little subplot that he probably would have lifted is his everyday catcher, Wilson Ramos. But he doesn't want to break up the combination of Ramos and Jordan Zimmerman.
That's a great point. Alvarez misses away, and it's 2-1. Sam Dyson in Miami's bullpen. Three and 1. Kevin Franzen due up next. Alvarez gets a strike. It's 3-2. Slow roller, Bohr. Zimmerman racing to second, slides into second base. And he's safe out there. And with 2 outs, we remind you, you can keep up with the Marlins all off season. Where will Billy the Marlin be? On the events page, Marlins.com. Get breaking news, information on social media. Go to Marlins.com/connect. Stay connected. So Schierholtz is out. Franzen is up. This, if Alvarez gets Franzen with Dyson throwing it, it might be the last hitter that Alvarez faces.
Well, remember, Alvarez came into the game today 6th in the National League with an earned run average of 270. It's going down a little bit, 2.65 right now. Three strikeouts, no walks. That's where the numbers kind of get askew with Henderson. You'll look at the hits allowed, the innings pitched, but then his walks are always down. Just 33 walks in almost 190 innings.
I don't know if time was granted, but the fastball came in on Franzen. The count is 1-1. Time was granted. And a ground ball in the left field. Zimmerman will be tackled by his third base coach if he tries to score. And a throw to second in time. Out is Franzen at second. What a game. And a no-hitter going on right now for Jordan Zimmerman. Back to work with a no-hitter going into the eighth. Now Zimmerman was at second base on this hit by Kevin Franzen. And Franzen never stopped round first. Casey McGee a heads-up throw and the tag by Solano. Remember, Zimmerman on the ground ball had just slid into second base.
And he had an infield base hit earlier in the game. So he slows up. He really didn't need to look at his third base coach, Bob Henley. He was going to slow up anyway. But he's had quite an afternoon. And, boy, the phrase and sentence gets overused about you come to a game and you never know what you're going to see. How about what we've seen here so far this afternoon?
Michael Taylor's in center field. Well, we've seen some really odd stuff. I mean, remember the ball that hit Gary Cedarstrom? Hairston had a sure double, but it hit the first base umpire standing on the outfield grass and bounced back to the infield. Reed Johnson was at the plate when the last inning ended because Garrett Jones was picked off by Wilson Ramos after he struck out and reached on a wild pitch. And through all of this, and even the line drives that the Marlins have sprayed around the field, Jordan Zimmerman is throwing a no-hitter.
And the bullpen, the last inning or two, each time Zimmerman has started to work, the bullpen has been active because you and I talked about it between innings. As soon as the Marlins get a base hit, and we're assuming they will, then Matt Williams will make a pitching change.
You're assuming they're going to get a hit, or you're assuming they're going to make a pitching change? I don't want to assume anything in this game. And we said that before the game even started about last year's final game and Alvarez, and certainly that's something that none of us had ever seen, or any baseball fan had seen, a walk-off no-hitter.
Exactly.
I mean, it has happened, but it was many, 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 many years ago. Breaking ball, line to left. That's Ryan Zimmerman out there, and he makes the catch. Another hard hit ball, but another out. 7 1/3.
And I
no
tell
hit.
You, the crowd, they are certainly into this game. Over 35,000 here this afternoon.
Oh, without a doubt. Fan photo time. AT&T fan photo. Hashtag your photo, FL fan photo, and maybe we'll get you in for next year. Final one, 2014. Claire with a selfie with Yelich. Very nice.
Zimmerman still with good zip on his fastball, 94, that last one.
Justin Bour walked in the 5th. He takes a fastball up. 9 strikeouts.
Here's another thing
one
to think
walk.
about. If you're Jordan Zimmerman, are you just saying, here, hit it. If I get the no-hitter, okay. If I give up a hit, I'll come out of the game and I'll be rested for postseason. What are you thinking if you're Jordan Zimmerman?
I think the competitor in Jordan Zimmerman is saying, I want a no-hitter.
Yeah. And we've talked about him in high school, a wide receiver. He played basketball.
He is a here-it-is, hit-it guy to begin with. I mean, that's the MO of both of these starters, Zimmerman and Alvarez. Two and two to Bour. Franzen.
You've never heard such a cheer for a pop fly.
Last starter carrying a no-hitter through 8 innings for the Nationals was Ramon Ortiz back in 2006. That was against the Cardinals. And as we told you earlier, the last member of this organization, these are the Expos, remember, to throw a no-hitter, it was Dennis Martinez's perfect game in '91 against the Dodgers. And here is the rookie catcher, JT Realmuto.
.90 pitches for Zimmerman.
And as they say these days, nary a stressful inning. He hasn't really had any stressful at-bats.
He's really gone to the fastball here, too, this inning. A lot of fastballs. Threw a couple of cutters.
He went 8 no-hit innings for Jordan Zimmerman in D.C. on the final day of 2014. He is 3 outs away from a no-hitter. Zimmerman, 8 no-hit innings, and he has struck out 10. And boy, has he been on it. Just 1 walk. Miami has 2 base runners. Garrett Jones reached on a strikeout and a wild pitch. And Jordan Zimmerman in the dugout right now. 93 pitches into this thing, and he's 3 outs away from a no-hitter in franchise history. Bill Stoneman, a couple of them with the Expos, Charlie Lee in 81, and the last one by a National/Expo, Dennis Martinez, the perfect game against the Dodgers.
You know, the other interesting thing as you look at the last few starts of Jordan Zimmerman, he's only gone over 100 pitches, maybe a handful of times out of his last 10 or 12 starts. And even at that, 105, 103. The most he's thrown all year was 114. That was way back in June.
Ryan Zimmerman. A.J. Ramos is up. To add a little bit of intrigue to this, as the Marlins come to the plate in the top of the 9th inning, the shadows are just about across the plate, which will make it even tougher for the hitters. Just something to think about.
And the Marlins will have Echeverria, a pinch hitter, and then back to the top of the order,
where Christian Yelich resides.
And what a finish for Henderson Alvarez as well.
Zimmerman strikes out. Yeah, Henderson Alvarez gives up 1 run over 7 innings. He struck out 3, did scatter 11 hits.
Lowers his ERA, Alvarez does, to 2.65. Zimmerman's ERA right now at 2.67.
Tyler Moore now.
It's kind of like we've lost track of some of those other games going on because of what's going on here.
Who cares? This
check it online tomorrow.
This has really turned into an incredible story on a day certainly where you're not expecting it. Nobody expected Alvarez to throw a no-hitter on the last day last year. And here, on a day where Matt Williams was taking his starters out inning by inning, Zimmerman was just mowing down hitters. He got some help. Marlins hit some balls hard at people. But then Zimmerman really has hit his gear. He has struck out 10. Alvarez was working quickly as well, and he zipped through his 7 innings.
The only regular still in there is his catcher, Wilson Ramos.
And you made the point. I'm sure if the Marlins had a couple of hits, Ramos would be long gone.
Oh, yeah.
A.J. Ramos misses in. The Nationals' run came on Ian Desmond's solo homer in the 2nd. He hit it into the Marlins bullpen in left field. Three-two coming. And he got him. And so Moore is down, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. On this telecast, we've been counting down the top moments for the Marlins. Now, this was Rule 7-1-3. This was Mathis. And that was Zach Cozart out by a bunch. And after a 6-minute review, the call was overturned. The boiler play, because Mike Redmond's shirt came out, and that photo of him in the Marlins clubhouse stood up for a while, of his stomach flying out of his jersey during that argument.
Isn't it interesting that the Marlins have been involved in the Posey play, which kind of initiated 7.13, and then they were involved in the play that kind of took 7.13 away.
Well, that certainly adjusted it.
Yes.
Back closer to norm, and that's what Major League Baseball feels they have done headed into the postseason. Espinosa's up, and he takes away. The count's 1-1. Now, while the Marlins, as you look at our lineup for Marlins Live, brought to you by Checkers, the Marlins have thrown 5 no-hitters in their history. Alvarez the 5th at the end of last year. The Marlins have only been no-hit twice. Ramon Martinez back in '95.
Pedro's brother.
And the Roy Halladay perfect game back in 2010. And a strike to Espinosa. It's 2-2. Well, you know what? I don't think anybody in the house cares that was called a strike. They just want to see that man get back to the mound and try to get 3 outs.
I'll tell you what, you were right about those shadows. There have been a couple of swings, even the Moore swing on the strikeout. It didn't look like he picked up the ball well.
And those shadows by the minute are creeping out across the plate and should have enveloped the plate by the time Zimmerman gets out there. Off the end of the bat, McGee gathers. And on his way out, 3 outs away from a no-hitter, is Jordan Zimmerman with a 1-0 lead into the 9th in D.C. '28-year-old Jordan Zimmerman has not given up a hit through 8. Last year, Henderson Alvarez threw a no-hitter on the last day of the season. It was a walk-off no-hitter. What are the odds that the Marlins would be involved in 2 of those in consecutive years? Zimmerman to the mound. He needs 3 outs. Echeverria first up. And a breaking ball, that's a strike. And it's 0-1. 35,000 here in D.C. Many of them on their feet. Echeverria, a ground ball. Coburnus, 1 out.
Well, I think it's interesting because last inning, lots of fastballs. He's smelling that no-hitter, breaking ball cutter to get the ground ball out, getting Donovan Solano.
Alvarez looking around.
Echeverria, excuse me.
He knows exactly what this feels like.
Yeah, he does.
95 pitches. Zimmerman's got plenty left in the tank. Jared Saltalamacchia will pinch hit. You've got Christian Yelich on deck. On their feet in D.C., and Saltalamacchia takes in 2 base runners for Miami. The walk to Justin Bour, and a wild pitch on a strikeout allowed Garrett Jones to reach.
And for your reference, last year in the Henderson Alvarez no-hitter, Alvarez threw 99 pitches.
1-1. Fastball up. The shadows have indeed crept across the plate, making it even tougher on a day where Jordan Zimmermann has been dynamite. In the air, center field. Taylor back, has room, makes the catch. And Zimmermann is an out away in D.C.
Boy, that's a great shot, Rich, right there of the shadows. And the bright sunshine where Jordan Zimmermann stands.
Here is Yelich. The last no-hitter in this franchise's history was 1991. Dennis Martinez. That pitches up, and it's a ball and a strike. Jordan Zimmermann is 2 strikes away. 35,000 on their feet. Breaking ball up. And it's 2-1. Henderson Alvarez did it on the last day of 2013. And here on the last day of 2014, Yelich, left center. It's well hit, and it's caught! A diving catch! The no-hitter complete! Jordan Zimmermann has no-hit the Marlins. Unbelievable catch in left field.
You just cannot write a script like that.
Steven Souza with a diving catch in left center field. And Jordan Zimmermann, the first no-hitter in Nationals history, and the first no-hitter in this franchise's run since 1991.
You cannot make this stuff up. What an incredible finish for the Nationals. You talk about momentum, getting yourself ready for postseason. They're ready.
Unbelievable. Yelich hit it well, and this one looked like it was a double.
Second time Yelich has crushed a ball, and not too many times do you see a celebration for a no-hitter in shallow left field, but Steven Souza makes an incredible catch. You remember Ryan Zimmerman had been playing left field most of the game with his bad hamstring. He would have never caught up to that ball.
And you saw the reaction from Zimmermann when it left the bat. He dropped his head. He thought he had lost the no-hitter, but he turned and saw the catch and then was mobbed by his teammates. What a day in D.C. How amazing is this, that on the final day last year, Henderson Alvarez throws a no-hitter. Alvarez starts against Jordan Zimmermann here, and it's Zimmermann who throws a no-hitter on the final day of 2014.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
On the last day of the season, it's happened before. Alvarez last year. But then you go back to 84, Mike Witt. There was a combined one for Oakland in 75, and then you got to go all the way back to 1892. Jordan Zimmermann strikes out 10 He walks just one. You talk about having momentum going into the postseason.
Oh, yeah. And he has the second start, not official, but we're all assuming Game 2 will be Jordan Zimmerman's, whoever the opponent might be for the Nationals.
Steven Souza with a diving catch in left center field, robbing Yelich, securing the no-hitter.
What do you think was going through Souza's mind as he chased down that fly ball hit so well by Yelich?
Well, as you pointed out, it was Ryan Zimmerman, length of the game out there and left. He comes out of the ball game. Souza's in. And everybody on the field has got to be a little nervous with 2 outs and a no-hitter on the line. Just amazing. The National League East champs have a memorable day on the final day of a very memorable season. It is the 5th no-hitter in Major League Baseball this season. And only the 3rd time that Miami has been no-hit in their history.
There were a lot of well-hit balls. It wasn't that he was tricking hitters the entire day. He did strike out double figures. Jordan Zimmerman had 10 strikeouts, just the 1 walk. You pointed it out. The Marlins had just 2 base runners. One of those strikeouts reached on a wild pitch.
It's a big win for us, and I got to thank all these guys playing behind me.
What's this like for you? You hadn't pitched in a little while after the shoulder thing. What's it like for you to come back out here in the regular season finale and pitch a no-hitter?
Yeah, you want to go out on top, that's for sure, and have some momentum going into the playoffs. And
that doesn't taste too good. At what point, they're chucking everything now. Jordan, at what point did you realize that you had a no-hitter work and it hits every pitcher at different points throughout the game? When did you feel it?
I think probably the 5th inning. I looked up, had zeros, and I was throwing the ball really well. Willie played great. He's called a great game back there. We got lucky in the 5th there. I think there was 3 hard hit balls, and those guys did a great job. But, these fans are great, Give it up to these guys.
You've talked in the past when you've had really good starts about how in the bullpen beforehand you felt awful. How'd you feel in the bullpen today?
It wasn't good again. It wasn't that good. You can ask Cat about that. And, you go out there and all of a sudden something clicks and you feel good. And, that was one of those nights tonight.
Can you imagine a much better way to finish the regular season than right into the playoffs?
No, this is the best for sure, and we're riding high right now. And we're gonna keep playing well and into the playoffs, and hopefully you guys keep it up.
Congratulations, Jordan.
Thank you.
Our thanks to our friends at Masson and the stadium production folks here at Nationals Park for allowing us to eavesdrop there on Jordan Zimmerman's big day in D.C. A no-hitter for Zimmerman on the last day of 2014. Partner, you and I have seen 2 of these in 2 years in a row. Absolutely amazing.
A lot of times, and we've seen it on last days of the season, you have maybe a little bigger strike zone. You have hitters swinging, maybe have plans. But you know what? Jordan Zimmerman threw a no-hitter, and the Marlins had some good swings. There were many. He talked about it that 5th inning. There were 3 line drive outs. A number of hitters hit some balls hard. Even the last out of the game, a great play in left field by Steven Souza, who'd come in for defense for Ryan Zimmerman.
Jordan Zimmerman is slated to start Game 2 of the Division Series on a day he'll never forget, the final day of the regular season of 2014. The Marlins no-hit by Jordan Zimmermann. We're back to D.C. after this.